We're bringing you an interesting episode of the Daily Show today because we won't or might not be doing this on a consistent basis throughout this test series. I just thought I had to bring you guys a show today to talk about this because what is important is that we bring you all the breaking news when we can. So there are two major debutants that are going to be playing for South Africa. We'll have to wait for their innings to obviously see them, but there's also an interesting debutant for the West Indies. But yesterday's preview show was brilliant in the end, but didn't start off as planned. So I'm going to have round two of this one and try this one again, bringing on Machel on the show. And I'm going to also have Aditya on the show, Abai on the show. We're going to be talking a little bit about the debutants, a little bit about the lunch break and what has happened in the first session of the first test against the West Indies, as well as some of the performances in the SAA game. So all of that we're going to be talking about next, guys. So hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid. Where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. So, Machel, that is how it's supposed to start. That's how the show was supposed to start yesterday when we had our show yesterday. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are all well. Interesting cricket happening currently. But let's get straight into it. Machel, I'm going to start with you. Particularly about the debutants and your debutant, of course. We obviously only going to really see him play when you guys take the ball. But were you happy with the lineup when you saw the lineup initially?
First, I want to say all I see is happy South African faces, and I don't want. I'm emotional right now.
I feel your pain, brother.
The lineup was interesting because I don't think so. I think on our end, and I think you might remember, Khalid, that I said to you that I think I sent you two lineups, and I said I think Jaden Seals is going to play, but I would play Roston Chase. What I didn't expect is to see both of them in the lineup. So I was surprised to see. I understand it, but I was surprised to see Alzari Joseph dropped. Now, the reason ultimately I think they've gone with this lineup is kind of what we were discussing on yesterday's show, which is that we're afraid of South Africa's bowling lineup. And look at the first session. The first session has shown exactly why we would want to be batting down to number 10 with Rakeem Cornwall. Number 9. Sorry, with Rakeem Cornwall at number 9, and you bring in Chase as an extra all-rounder. In terms of Jaden Seals, obviously we won't get the chance to see him in the same way that you won't get to see your debutants until South Africa come into bat. Yeah. I'm looking forward to him. I'm hoping that he's looking at the deck at South Africa, getting first dibs on the deck in terms of bowling thing, and rubbing his hands, saying, I can't wait to get a go at this as well. But strangely, and I'd love to see what everyone else says, when Maharaj came on and bowled in what is 4 overs of spin, I already saw a bit there. And obviously we've got Rakeem and Roston who are going to be bowling spin as well. And I just wonder if there's going to be a chance for us to get at South Africa with spin actually more so than what we do with pace. But I don't know. We'll see how that unfolds later on in the test match.
Yeah, what I noticed is particularly the way you guys batted against KG and Lungi at the beginning. Almost tentative, left everything outside off. It's kind of something that's weird because it's something that I asked South Africa to do when we were playing other opposition that was swinging the ball. I said, leave the ball outside off, just leave the balls, just have patience. But I think in this one, it's maybe a little bit different. I don't think it's because of the same reasons. I think maybe it's because I don't know, because I haven't watched enough of your openers bat in games, obviously, because I haven't watched a lot of West Indies cricket to be able to have a say on it. But it looked like they were leaving a lot off, and then playing everything on the pull shots all across the line. Majority of the shots that were playing were across the line. They weren't trying to drive many. The ones that did, they got success out of it. So I was quite surprised that they didn't use a lot of straight drives or down through the covers, etc. Were you surprised that your batters didn't do that as much as in this particular first session?
I guess it's twofold for me. You want to be circumspect in. I actually think they went about it the right way.
Okay.
And let's not forget that the bowlers were beating the bat umpteen times. So I kind of felt like, listen, ultimately there's a ball with your name on it at some point in time, given how well the three pacers bowled up top. So I could almost understand why they were trying. I felt like they were digging in, just trying. Let's see it off. Let's see it off. Let's see it off. Obviously, they couldn't see it off long enough. So really, the question mark for me is: could they? I don't want to say aggressive. Could they have been a bit more? Could they have tried to get some more runs on the board earlier, or was the bowling so on point that actually it was too difficult to do that? And I think you would have seen that the Shea Hope, there was a few wild swishes at the ball, and that suggested to me that he was trying to increase the tempo, but it was just too difficult to do so. And bear in mind, this is someone who's coming into the Test series on form, and he was struggling to time the ball from an attacking perspective. So I've just got to hand it to the bowlers. I think they were bang on the money straight away. There was not. How many loose balls did you see in that session? None. do you know what I mean?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah. I think majority of the tightness came past the sixth over. I think that the first couple of overs, there was a couple of deliveries that I feel that the West Indies could have played a little bit more attacking towards. But I mean, when the ball's outside off, you don't necessarily want to go fishing either. So it's you caught between two minds over there. I'm going to start with Aditya. Aditya, let's start with obviously the South Africans had a great performance, particularly Anrich Nokia. I think he's what I love about Anrich over the past years that I've seen him obviously make his Test debut compared to domestic setup is the amount of balls that he gets in exactly the same position. The consistency that he's brought into his game is just unbelievable. And he just keeps on getting better and better and better. So let's talk about this lineup. You know why I'm smiling? Because I'm getting to see my guy play this particular match. I wanted him to play not at the expense of Themba Bavuma though, but because it's one of those tricky ones. I want him to start. I wish there was 12 players in a team. So let's talk about our lineup, particularly the two debutants, and then also a little bit about what you thought about Nokia's performance, particularly KG also coming to the fold a little bit later, learning from Nokia. And that's what I love about that particular two bowlers, what they're doing, because they're learning from each other constantly on that field.
Incredible. I think it's great to see both Kyle and Keegan fit in there, and I think this lineup also indicates that it's going to be Rassie van der Dussen who bats at 4 and not Keegan. So I guess that's another question that we had yesterday, and that's not clear to us. As for Anrich Nokia, outstanding performance. Give Anrich the Duke's ball, and I think what we've seen is magic. With X-factor bowlers like Anrich Nokia, it's interesting to see how captains use these type of bowlers, because it's so important. You look at the real template that was set back in 2013-14 with Michael Clarke, and the way he used Mitchell Johnson, and I'm hoping that Dean Elgee uses Anrich Nokia the same way. But outstanding performance from Anrich Nokia. He was brilliant today, and I think part of the reason that the West Indies were perhaps not playing as effectively as they might have wanted to is because I think in these times preparation is difficult. You give teams a warm-up game, or you give additional time to prepare, and you never know. Instead of 48 for 4, the scoreline may read like 140 for 4, and these are home conditions for them. So I suppose we'll have to see. I guess never comment on a pitch until both teams have batted. So we'll have to see how South Africa goes as well. But so far so good. Great first session.
What I love the most about this, probably the session, besides the wickets, of course, is I thought it was a massive test for Dean Elgar as a captain, because how he was going to approach this as a captain. Was he going to be tentative? Was he going to be brave? Was he going to try things that others might not have tried? Was he going to do something that was out of the ordinary? And I think I saw a little bit of everything in this particular match. He was strong with his reviews, trusting his players in that particular point in time when they were supposed to. When they did the helmet, of course, which I thought they shouldn't have went for, but at least you can see he's communicating with his players and his senior guys to say, oh, look here, what do you think happened over there? There's also sometimes, and he said, no, I'm not going to go for a review for that one. I want to ask you about Dean Elgar's captaincy and also about the South African performance, what you thought stood out with regards to that, but particularly about the way Dean Elgar handled his bowlers, particularly bringing on Maharaj when he did as well.
Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
You're on mute. You're on mute. There.
Okay, I am unmuting it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Thank you, Khalid. Look, I was extremely encouraged with the first decision not to do a review when Dean Elgar decided against a very almost a protest like Rabada not to do the review, and that showed me how composed he was going into this test, and it gave me a good indication of his frame of mind being in control and being comfortable, as opposed to where one might compare that with Quinton de Kock, who just had an atmosphere of uncertainty around him beforehand, with respect, of course. That for me was set the tone for something that is stable, which is so essential at the moment for us with the rock bottom cycle that we are at the moment. So I wasn't surprised then when Nortje did have some success. I felt that the West Indies top order was not matching the same composure, perhaps. Then it felt like they treated the South African attack with respect, but then they realized they needed to score runs at the same time. There were a few rub of the greens that went against Rabada, and I think that gave some liquid courage to the openers, and perhaps they would be disappointed with their shot selection, that you're leaving the ball to get a stump taken out at the top order is something that normally doesn't, that shouldn't be repeated again. If it happens in your career as a top order batsman, you don't do that very often. So I think they will be disappointed. But to answer your question, Khalid, I was quite surprised with two things as well. Like Machel has mentioned, is the introduction of Maharaj in the 11th over and the turn at the same time. That was quite interesting. I really like this wicket. I mean, it seems and it turns, but it also offers something for the patient and composed batsman, shall I say. I also love this wicket for the fact that it is allowing a contest for a result and a contest between bat and ball. I believe there's lots of rewards for the batsman who's willing to get stuck in and make a name for himself. This is definitely a wicket for somebody to put up his name and have powers of concentration and stand out for that. And that would be, I think, a potential contender for the man of the match, the type of batsman that can do that. Or conversely, if that doesn't happen, we will have more of André Nortje and the rest of the clan with Wiaan Mulder still to come.
Okay, so Abai, I want to get your take on this a little bit. From what you've seen, I mean, you obviously were so keen to watch this game, getting up nice and early to watch it, of course, as well. So from that perspective, I just want to know, what was your thoughts of the game, your analysis, all the way from the USA? And I want to also know your insight into the SAA performances so far before we end off the show, of course, and get Machel's last comments about what he wants to see from the West Indies. But let's just get from your points and then obviously go straight into the SAA report, basically what you've seen and what you're happy about with regards to that.
All right, so we can start with the test match. Before I talk about what went down in the first session, I just want to mention Dean Gallagher has led in I think 3 or 4 test matches when Faf du Plessis was absent. So I never really had any doubts over his leadership capabilities, and it's gone to show that he's been able to manage his bowling attack pretty well. His bringing in Andre Norquea at first change, that proved to be a masterstroke. In fact, he took 2 wickets in his first 3 overs, and he got both the set openers out. And even Rabada and Ngidi, even though they weren't taking wickets early on, they were asking plenty of questions to the West Indies openers, and there were a lot of close calls. So in a way, it was a matter of time until the South African bowlers would regularly strike. So right now, it's definitely, it seems like the Windies have their backs against the wall, and they need a big partnership to get themselves out of trouble. And I think so for the Proteas, the lunch is tastier for them at the moment. So
I wonder what's on the menu. With some jerk chicken or something. I would like to actually know.
That's more of a Jamaican thing, isn't it? Jerk chicken.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I mean, I would like to know what's actually on the menu, what they're eating. It'd be interesting. I've seen the Centurion menu at the test match. You know, they have a personal chef, like not a personal chef, but they have a chef that cooks meals for them. I saw the menu. I was gonna do a whole documentary series on it. They have like steak made by the chef with veggies and it's crazy. I was like, wow, look at this.
Very interesting. I guess we could talk about food maybe on a future show.
Maybe on the podcast show.
All right, so South Africa A next.
Yep.
All right, so I don't think I got to watch any of that match, but overnight. But the South Africans did seal an innings victory against the Zimbabwe A team. The second innings they got bowled out for 93, so it was a fairly quick finish. If we go to the batting for South Africa, it's really nice to see Zubair Hamza score his career best. It was a 222 not out, and then Siyathemba Shile, 123 not out, and that's his first century in 4-day cricket. So I think if we look at the future of South Africa's batting, I think there are a lot of good signs. I think it's only a matter of time until Zubair Hamza is back in the test setup. I hope he can maintain that consistency because he's shown that he has what it takes to eventually become an all-format regular for South Africa in due course. And as far as bowling is concerned, I think Darren de Pavillon was excellent. Took 5 wickets in the first innings, and it was a nice all-round show from all the bowlers in the second innings. So de Pavillon was among the wickets. Pamla, Miguel Pretorius. So it was a pretty well-rounded performance from South Africa, and even though they're playing Zimbabwe A, every single win counts because I feel momentum is key when it comes to development as a team, especially during these times. Like it's a transitional phase for South Africa. I know that phrase has been used so many times, but it is what it is, and I think it's the only way is upwards from here on out.
It seemed like a very good pitch for batting. I mean, I contacted Zubi after the match to congratulate him, and he said, "No, he's like, thank you, but the pitch was really good. It batted really well." So, it looked like that.
One more thing I forgot to mention. Well played to Eddie Moore. He scored 93, and Ryan Rickleton, who scored 104. Yeah. So really, everyone's chipped in. Everyone's done their part. It's true team effort, and let's hope we can see more and more of that going forward.
Yeah, of course. And from that point of view, I think Ryan Rickleton's really knocking on that door for selection. I think it's now a competition between him and the other openers. Like even Cyril Earvier needs to look behind him because, I mean, Rickleton across all formats currently has been excellent, not only just in the 4-day arena. So well done.
You know what? He was really unlucky not to get a T20 debut against Pakistan.
Yeah, no, very unlucky. Okay. Let's round this up. Machel, I want to get your views. How do the West Indies get out of this? Because I kind of feel that they in a similar situation that South Africa's been in so many test matches. Do you want to see a more aggressive approach, or do you just want to see a more more of the same? I wouldn't say more of the same, but a more conservative to stick to the game plan that they've been given. What would you like to see from your guys now going into the next session?
First things first, I think 250 is enough. My assessment of this deck already is that you need 250 on the first innings. I don't think this is going very high, and I think when Hanno spoke, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, I think he made a very good point. This match is going to be won by the one or two batsmen who actually put their hands up. We shouldn't draw too much from one session, but it already has that kind of sense as to which batsman is prepared. Like, so you see how Roston's got what, 7 off what, like 50 or something like that. And now I'm not going to say that Roston's going to go on and hit a century, but it's going to be an innings like that. So someone who's prepared to hit 100 off 272 balls. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is going to be a deck where you're ever really going to be fluent. But once you're in, you're in. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for is for a batsman to do that.
Mm-hmm. Sounds a little bit like you're telling me that we might see a Dean Alger 300 year or something, eh, Machel? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've really been waiting to watch this West Indies team for a long time, and now I'll get the opportunity to do so. Let's just get a final say from everybody around the table. Let's get a final say from Aditya, then Hanno, and then we can wrap it up with a bye.
Yes, so far so good. Captivating stuff from Proteas, and it'd be interesting to see how the next couple of days go. But I think from West Indies' point of view, they'd look for their lower order to really salvage this innings, and then really have Jaden Seagulls show us his skill set when the West Indies bowl. Very excited to see him, and from the Proteas' point of view, I think they need to have a collective batting performance, and for their sake and for all of our sakes, I think we'd love to see Keegan Petersen and Verreynne score runs.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect opportunity for South Africa, eh? Hanno?
Thank you, Khalid. First things first, it's just a privilege to play Test cricket during this time. And having hit rock bottom with the Proteas, I believe this team is at a crossroads where, if you look at history, this is the worst time since the Second World War for the South African team. Conversely, so there's a trajectory for the West Indian team. And I'd like to see this as an even contest going in at the moment, where you basically have to show your DNA to get on top. This is more about what you stand for. It's about the history. It's about the atrocities of the recent past, the difficulties for West Indian cricketers fighting with their board versus the similar comparison with South Africa at the moment. Saying, let's just leave all of that. Let's just play cricket and show what we're all about. It's been 12 years since we played in the Caribbean, and I cannot tell you how much enjoyment I've derived from the past series, the few that they were when South Africa played in the Caribbean, and of course watching, during isolation. And this brings so much joy to me, just to watch the cricket first and foremost, but secondly, to know that the DNA of a South African and a West Indian eventually is a lot better than what the ranking suggests. And there's a lot more than what meets the eye for perhaps the neutral viewer. We both know what we have inside ourselves. There's a lot more than what it resembles to the outside world. And this is an opportunity to really show the world we are a little bit more than what you might think. And that's true for both teams. And I would like to see evidence of both of that during the series. We're wonderful friends with the West Indies, and we know we will shake hands and we will join each other afterwards in the change room. But it's going to be basically last chance saloon for each one before that. And I look forward for South Africa to bounce back where history have shown that they've always done that when they were backed into a corner. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I'm happy for Keegan and Kyle. It's nice to see two newcomers in the batting card. We all know what Kyle's capable of. I hope he goes well. Same with Keegan. Just want to add something about Keegan Petersen. He's switched to the Dolphins, and there's been no looking back since then. He's been scoring heavily in the domestic scene, and I hope that translates to international form too. All in all, I'm hoping to see a strong fight between both sides. Both sides clearly struggling in the test scene. I hope that won't be the case for that long. Excited to see a well fought series. Hopefully, an even contest between bat and ball. And Khalid, thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. And guys, if you want to get to know Keegan, if you want to get to know Keegan Petersen and Kyle Verreynne a lot better, we've got two awesome videos on this channel in the exclusive interview section. There's one in the on lockdown section with Kyle Verreynne, where he gives his whole background about himself and how he got into cricket and everything from a kid. We've also got an awesome interview of Keegan Petersen talking about the hundreds that he was scoring for the Dolphins in the start of his career, in the start of his Dolphins stint. Go check for that in the exclusive interviews column as well. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Machel, thanks a lot for coming on the show again and giving me a second chance. I really enjoyed it and really enjoyed having you on. And Aditya, thank you. Abai, Anu, also for coming on the show. Guys, we've reached 2,000 subscribers. I have to thank all of you in the comment section for getting us there. Please, let's push for that 3,000 subscriber mark as well. So if you guys are new to this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do that for us. You can just click that subscribe button, click that notification bell for all future videos as well, please. Smash the like button, get this trending on your recommended feeds on YouTube as well. Let's get this going and get other South African fans, of course, to also tune in. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you guys again for another episode sometime this week. Hopefully tomorrow, me and Aditya will pull something together. Cheers, everyone.